Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Pisces March 2023 weekly illumination reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot, a place for you to better connect with and illuminate your own personal spiritual importance. So, hi, everyone, and welcome. In today's reading, I actually have a card that's flipped up right here. I just noticed that. Wow, 10 of Cups. Well, that might be coming up in your reading. That's a beautiful energy if that's the case, Pisces. All right, so what I was saying is in this reading, we're going to be taking a look at the energies for the week ahead. We're going to be looking at what you're bringing to the table, Pisces, what's going on around you in your external environment, and then we're going to be looking at a block or a challenge, advice from Spirit as to how to overcome it, and then an opportunity that's coming in that's really going to help you connect and illuminate that spiritual importance that is unique to each one of us. So really allowing that avenue for growth to come in. Okay, so let's see, Pisces. What does Pisces need to know about the week ahead? I hope all of you so far, I hope you're coming out of having a great weekend. I know it's been a fun one for me and my family. The weather got a little colder. I do live on the East Coast. We've actually been blessed with a relatively mild winter this year. But this weekend we kind of dipped back down, reminding us it's not quite out of the woods yet into spring. All right. So we have 5 of Pentacles, Pisces. That's the energy that you're bringing into the week. So you might be facing a little kind of internal fear around the physical, meaning that you might be kind of looking at where maybe you cling a little bit to money, where you might feel, and then you have the 6 of Pentacles. Okay, so we'll get into this in your external environment. You might be looking at kind of where you might hold yourself back out of fear that you don't have enough or won't have enough, or that you also might be kind of left out alone. That can speak to this kind of lack, this poverty mindset of I don't have enough, I won't have enough, or if I pursue something that I will be, kind of left out in the cold. And I'm getting that now with seeing 6 of Pentacles, with looking at kind of the past energy moving into the present day. There's definitely, you guys have been working on something for sure. With the 3 of Wands coming in, followed by the 8 of Pentacles, and then followed by your current energy, which is the Fool. I love this energy for you guys. There is this feeling of having been in a place of waiting. The 3 of Wands is waiting for your ships to come in. It can be a card of opportunities that actually want to come in for you. And for many of you, I think there has been this period of, whether you're waiting for, whether this applies to your work life, maybe some of you are waiting for that promotion, or you are waiting for the love of your life to come in, or you're waiting for something that you have taken some action towards and you are expecting to be somewhat rewarded. Now, in the meantime, many of you, either to kind of pass the time as you're waiting for this opportunity to come in, or because of the opportunity that's come in, you've been very hard at work. The 8 of Pentacles is diligent, doing something step by step over and over and perfecting it. This can be where we put in those long hours at work, or where we maybe take a class and we master some skill set. This can also be where maybe for some of you, if you're building a side business or something along those lines, that you might have been kind of working on it, behind the scenes. And with the Fool coming in, it might be that moment to jump into it or to release what you've been working on. Now, with the 6 of Pentacles coming in your external environment, this really represents this kind of the minor arcana version of the Justice card, which is the major arcana depiction of divine balance, of that understanding that whatever was put in here will be balanced out here. And this is a reminder that truly what we put in, the energy, the time, the money, the commitment will always be balanced in some way, even if it's not in that immediate moment, meaning we don't see an immediate return on our investment. This is really stating that for many of you this week, there could be this realization of finally something is being returned to you. But you might be, as you're about to kind of make this, the Fool is stepping into a new cycle. It's truly taking that kind of blind leap of faith based off of something you've already really perfected. And it might be that feeling of, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I have enough, because again, that's what the Five of Pentacles can speak to, especially when we're holding it internally. This can be like where you're saying, I'm not enough. I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can, again, if I take this leap into this new opportunity, I don't think I will end up making the amount of money that I hope I can. It's one of those kinds of things. And the Six of Pentacles is saying there's actually a beautiful energy in your external environment that says, no, actually, you're going to see that return on your investment. It's going to be that beautiful, divine balance. All right, let's go ahead now. I'm going to pull the real spread here, which is where we're going to be looking at that block or challenge, advice from Spirit, and then the opportunity that wants to come in for that elevation of really kind of, when I talk about spiritual importance, I'm speaking to really starting to see yourself, to see your importance, where we get closer to really seeing our purpose and understanding our meaning. Okay, so 8 of Cups. Yeah. Okay, that's your main point of challenge with the Ace of Swords, which is beautiful clarity. And then we have the Hanged Man at the heart of your reading, which is what Spirit is asking you to embrace, which is a change in perspective. Okay, and then we have 9 of Swords with the Empress, beautiful, and the Prince of Swords, which is, in this deck, this is the Knight of Swords. Okay. Bottom of the deck, we have the Sun. Love it. This is true illumination of the self. Okay, so right off the bat, we have 8 of Cups. Now, 8 of Cups is a card that denotes that it's time to walk away from something that is no longer emotionally fulfilling to us. And coming in as your main point of challenge, this can be difficult because when we think about 8 Cups, that's a lot of time and energy and investment, and especially emotional investment that you've put into something, whether that is a workplace. This can be where you're looking at possibly leaving a workplace to go to another job because, you were waiting for that promotion and you were working hard, you were perfecting, you were doing what you needed to do, and that promotion just hasn't come, and now finally you're realizing, you know what? It's time for me to apply elsewhere. And I know it's time for me to do this. But for many of you, I think it's hard to do that. I mean, it's easier said than done, right? Like, okay, yeah, just leave your job, or okay, yeah, just leave that relationship, or okay, just leave, your living situation. But I think for many of you, there is this feeling of, but if I leave this job, then I might have less than what this can be like also where maybe for some of you, if you're wanting to start a side business, it's like, well, if I leave the work world and I actually do go into wanting to make my side hustle my full-time job, I might lose everything. I might not ever make as much as I was making at my 9-to-5 as I transition into working for myself. Or I might never find the home that I'm living in now if I choose to move to a new state. Something along those lines. Now, with the Ace of Swords coming in right after this, it says that there is some clarity here, that I think for many with the full energy coming in, what it's time to walk away from. What you've been wanting to come in and waiting for. How hard you've been working towards something. But now there's like this aha moment of, wait a second, I can't, to honor myself, I can't stay in this holding pattern. It's time for me to finally kind of, call a spade, look at what really isn't working for me, and it's time to really get clear. Now, this can also be a moment of truth where suddenly there's like this, the lights have been turned on. With the Sun, I think for many of you, that really is what's coming in here. It's like the lights have been turned on and you're getting some illumination on your own truth, on the truth of a situation. With the Hanged Man coming in, Spirit's asking you to have a change in perspective, that maybe you have been looking at your current situation from the wrong point of view, that maybe you're looking at, feeling like you're left out in the cold, when in reality, there's abundance that's waiting to come in. Maybe it is time to wrap up a cycle where you were working for someone else and it's time to work for yourself, because that's what you have, that's the opportunity. That's what you've been working hard for. and to look at that, to own it for yourself. This can also be where it's time to kind of look at maybe, and we'll get into it, I'm going to pull some clarifiers, but this could also be where maybe what you are, with the Fool energy, this is always very difficult, to take that blind leap of faith right off the cliff into the new. But it might be the realization with the Hanged Man of kind of looking at your whole experience and saying, well, wait a second. I'm tired of kind of living on the fringes. I'm tired of not making enough. I'm tired of maybe worrying about if I can, make ends meet, or if I'll ever have the love of my life come in, something like that. And suddenly you realize, whoa, wait a second, change in perspective. I'm the one holding myself back because I'm not willing to walk away from something. An opportunity is presenting itself. I have been working hard to learn a skill set. I have been working hard to build a great home life. I have been working hard to attract in the right partner. And I think with Nine of Swords coming in on the other side, there's almost this fear. I'm hearing fear of success, which is interesting. It's almost like this fear of maybe you've played it small for a long time. That can also be the Five of Pentacles. You've played it small. I know I'm only worth this much. This can be like where sometimes, and I know I've experienced this myself, where we start, like we kind of go into a field of work at an entry level and we're like, okay, yeah, I know I only need to make minimum wage, or I know I can only make like a tiny salary. But then after you've been there for a couple years or longer and you have perfected, you've really grown, you really understand the job. If there is no additional money coming in, or there's no additional, room for promotion, then this is where you really have to realize and say, am I just, I am now playing it small. I now have a skill set that needs to go out there and be utilized in a bigger sense. Because when we think about it, with an eye towards our own spiritual growth, we always kind of have to be expanding. We have to be growing and expanding. That's really what, positive change reflects. And so for many of you, I think that there's this realization of like just maybe how small you have been playing it for some time. And that's the clarity here. That's the change in perspective of, man, not that I have to leave this job and it might be scary and I might not make enough. It's more like the realization with the Ace of Swords coming in of, oh my gosh, I could make a lot more money. And for some of you, there might be an offer on the table. That might actually be, there could be with the Six of Pentacles coming in, that offer that's going to make good where you maybe have been playing it small for quite some time. This can be like where maybe you've been working those 2 years and you should have had that $50,000 raise and you didn't get it. But now a new opportunities coming in for you to be able to move to a different company, and they're going to pay you well above even what you thought you were going to, what you were worth. And suddenly that money that you didn't get for 2 years is now immediately returned to you. So there is something here around that. Now, this could also be, again, there's a lot of pentacles, so this really does speak to the physical. But this could also be, again, where maybe you are working really hard, to save for a home or something like that. And it's like, oh, man, I've just been saving and I've been saving and I've been saving. And now it's finally time to leave where you've been living. But it's scary. And you're like, yeah, but my rent, it's a rent-controlled apartment and I don't know if I want to really leave. And then you look at it and go, wait a second, I've been saving for so long. I could be living the dream, in my I could be living in the penthouse. I could be living in the home of my dreams. And yet I've been holding myself back, playing it small in maybe an apartment I don't even want to invite people over to. So there's something about that here. And with the Nine of Swords coming in, I think there's a lot of fear about almost like your own creative potential, which is interesting with the Empress coming in over here. This is your final point of challenge. There's fear around the realization of, I think, just how much you are truly capable of. With the Knight of Swords or the Prince of Swords coming in, this is getting out there and taking action from your truth. He holds that sword and he's like, okay, I'm going to go. That's what the Knights do in the tarot. They progress energy forward. And so it's almost like, okay, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to go with my truth or the realization of my self-worth and value, and I'm going to go out there and create. But I think there's some worry almost. It's interesting how very few people will ever admit that they have a fear of success. But there is, sometimes that's the bigger issue than the fear of failure, where it's almost like, well, yeah, if I get that massive promotion at a new company and suddenly I'm at the top, or before I was at the bottom, oh my gosh, I'm terrified. Like what, now I'm going to have a whole new set of responsibilities. Now the buck stops with me. But the realization is that's what you were working towards. And that's now what that is you. It's like the butterfly can't go back to become the caterpillar after it realizes it's the butterfly. So there's something kind of along that line here of like realizing just how great you are, Pisces, in a way. It's a very positive reading, and it does speak to there is going to be an opportunity here to, I think, recoup a lot of energy that you've invested into something. Yeah. 7 of Coins. That speaks to, this card speaks to really evaluating what you've been working towards and what it has, what has that bush that you've been tending to, what fruit has it bore. And when you look at it from that way, this is like saying, well, do I want to keep investing my time and energy here? Because you look at the individual, it's almost like he's looking at it going, I didn't want this. Like I thought I was working towards that promotion, and yet that promotion has never come. So do I want to keep investing here? Or this could be the same thing if this applies to your work or your living situation. This could be like, I have just been working so hard to create the perfect environment and to be the perfect partner for my partner. And yet, when I look at my experience, it's not going anywhere. It's not what I want. It's not emotionally fulfilling, because then here comes in the magician and says, well, you can magically grow what you want to grow. You don't have to just accept what you've been told or what you see has come to be. It's saying, if you don't like those blueberries on that bush that you were hoping were going to be apples, well, then it's time to kind of dig deep and say, you know what, maybe because I wasn't maybe I wasn't putting the right, seeds in the ground, because I wasn't nurturing them in the right way. And there's something here with saying you have been nurturing something. You might have been mastering how to grow apples, and you realize now, wait a second, my environment doesn't actually support apple trees. I don't even have a yard big enough for an apple tree. So it's time for me now to work my magic to find where I can best utilize my skill set to grow apple trees. And therein comes the clarity, the realization of, wait a second, I can't do that here. I can't do that where I am. Okay, so yeah, 2 of Pentacles, clarity around where maybe you've been juggling. Oh, and there's the Sun, there's the Illumination. Yeah, where you've been juggling, where you've just been kind of getting by on the day-to-day. This can be like where we do let like 2 years at a workplace like slip by when we should have moved on, or we should have had that promotion a long time ago. Or this can be where we just get, again, we get wrapped up in the day-to-day and we don't realize like, wow, I really should have moved by now. Or I really should have, left this relationship, because now when I stop to kind of look at everything, it's just not what I wanted. But it's also illumination, I think, of where maybe there's a pattern where maybe you have to juggle too much. There can be that illumination here of you being the one to kind of have to juggle it all. And with the Sun coming in, this is kind of like seeing yourself in the middle of all of that and saying, I'm worth more than this. 3 of Cups and 7 of Wands for the Hanged Man. So yeah, there's a defense. There's an element here of defending. With the 3 of Cups, 3 of Cups is celebration. It can be finding your soul tribe. It can be really finding people who want to share their cups with you, and this could be actually around a social, setting that maybe for some of you, it's interesting. I'm really feeling that maybe you guys have been not being supported by the right people, which is interesting. And there's this element of like defending that and maybe seeing that in a new perspective of maybe you're like, oh, but I'm part of this work team and this team is fantastic. And I'm never going to find a team that's as supportive of this. And the Hangman is like saying, but if they're really, if they were really there to support you, then wouldn't they be paying you more? Would they be the ones putting all of the work on your shoulders? This can also be like, like a work or like a home environment where you're like, no, like, no, my family really supports me. They really are there for me. They, and it's like, but are they really? when if you told them that you want to make this big move into, maybe again, working on your side hustle and leaving your job, or you want to move to a new location, maybe this could even be where it's like, maybe your family puts all of the stress on you to maintain a home that is too big for you. And you're like, no. They're here to support me. Like, I'm here to do this with them. Like, it's realizing, but if it makes you feel small, if it doesn't make you, same with like, if this is also around a friend group, this could be, again, you might belong to, and this can bridge into work. You could be in a specific like society. Maybe like you're a plumber and you're in the plumbers guild or something along those lines, and you're like, no, but they're here and they're really looking out for my best interest. But yet, again, they're kind of talking you out of making a move that is within your own best interest. So there's something here around that. Now, it could just be a friend group too. This could be just like the wrong type of people you've been associating yourself with who are like, no, play it small. And you're like, well, wait a second. So they're seeing that from a new perspective, seeing that, maybe there is something, and it's hard. I understand this because I've gone through this personally too, where you're like, but I love my team, or I love, my neighbors that I have in the neighborhood that I'm living in. But then you have to realize like, okay, but if it's time for you, but if that home no longer suits your needs, it might be time to leave. And you could still stay in touch with those people, but you have to look out for yourself first. And with the Fool coming in, there really is this asking you that like to take that leap into the new cycle. Now, for the Nine of Swords, we have the Four of Coins and the Nine of Wands. Yeah. You're burned out and you're worried about if you invest. Now, again, this could be like literally it's time to move. It's time to finally level up into a larger home. And you're like, but if we do that, what if I end up, what if we put that big down payment, we end up incurring more debt? Is that really going to be, are we going to end up losing our butts if the economy turns? But it's saying you've worked a long way to get here with the Eight of Pentacles and the Nine of Wands. This says you've done a lot of work, and yeah, you may be exhausted, and it may feel exhausting to have to make this decision now. But the reality of it is you're being pushed to grow. So if you really look at it that way, you're being pushed to grow. And anytime we take the opportunity to grow when it's presented, we will see a return on our investment. We do receive that reward. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at the Empress. And there's that Five of Coins. Yeah, there's this with the Temperance. This is saying it's time to really, Temperance is a card of moderation. It's a card of bringing two parts of yourself together. It can be a card of actually bringing the past version of yourself in with the present version of yourself, blending those together, a past skill set with a new skill set. It can also be blending your emotions with your passion and how you choose to take action, and really looking at that, really understanding how those two things are a catalyst for an alchemical reaction. Temperance can also speak to divine timing. For me, it brings in the number 14 in the tarot, which the number 14 reduces to the number 5. It is a number of freedom through change. And I think the change here for many of you is growing past this kind of poverty mindset or this playing it small and getting into this kind of ultimate creatress. That's what the Empress is. She is the ultimate creator. She can literally give birth to what she wants to create. She's kind of the wellspring of creativity. And I think for many of you, you're being asked to go out there on this journey to find to really see what you can create for yourself. But it will take getting out of this Five of Pentacles mentality. Now, with coming in here and coming out here, that's like the only thing stopping you from really taking this leap into something that is going to really allow for growth. And I think also to have like a true return on your investment. Yeah, we have Six of Wands at the bottom. That's success and recognition. Love that. Okay, we're going to get a couple more cards here. Let's see, what else does Pisces need to know? does Pisces need to know? Sorry, guys. I do like the cards to come out authentically. I'm also just listening to hear if any of the messages come in. I really do hear the kind of, I keep hearing, it's the friends we keep, the friends we keep. So I don't know if there's, for some people, there's a lot here. Okay. I don't know if that's coming up for you around a friend group or, again, a community. There might be something there to look at from a different perspective. It could even be for some of you that friend group of the community is actually what's offering you the opportunity, and maybe you're trying to defend not moving into that. So very interesting, because we have here community again. So we have first chakra, Archangel Michael. We have community with the number 7 coming in there. We have all tied up. Number 23 breaks into number 5, and then contract with number 6. This is actually a very clear message coming in that for some of you, so the first chakra really speaks to our root chakra, and this is where we hold a lot of our fears, which would be naturally coming up around the 5 of Pentacles energy. That's kind of our fear around security and what we need to have in our experience to feel secure. And I think there's something here around that community, and maybe feeling like maybe there is a contract coming up, but with it all tied up, you're almost like holding yourself back out of fear of maybe leaving a community. It might be taking you, again, outside of your comfort zone. It could also be that there's an opportunity to maybe join a new community, and you're kind of holding yourself back from that. And with contract coming in, this is basically, here's divine justice coming in. There is a contract or an offer on the table, I think, for some of you this week that really does speak to, again, giving you a return on your investment, kind of that divine law of, balance for all the time and hard work and energy you've put in, the patience of waiting for something to come. But it could be fear associated that's coming from a friend group. This could be, again, where people are, stating like, I don't know if you should leave this business or not because the economy is bad, or I don't know if you should do that. Or it could be, again, like fear of leaving a comfort zone, fear of leaving, living in a place where you had community, fear of, and having to leave and go someplace else, fear of leaving that workplace where you really did bond with all the people there. And it's like, but now I'm going to have to level up and I'm going to be at a completely different level than everybody. Or this can be, even fear of, any place where you feel like you are leaving a comfort zone tied to a group of people. Whether this, again, is your living situation, where you're physically living, whether this is in a workplace, whether you're leaving or whether you're elevating in position, or whether you're just, joining another network of people. There's something along that here, and it's holding you back from really, taking advantage of an opportunity that wants to come in. So really keep that in mind. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to see what's going on with this community card. So let's go ahead and just pull a couple. I'm going to look at the community, and then I'm going to look at contract. Community. Queen of Cups, 6 of Wands, and 9 of Pentacles. Oh, interesting. So Queen of Cups is the energy of kind of unconditional love. It's really getting to that place of mothering ourselves. It can be being a mother. So for some of you, maybe there was something here around, because with the 6 of Wands coming in, there's that element of success, of recognition, job well done. The 9 of Pentacles is a lot of independence in the physical. This is abundance. This is really being able to stop and enjoy the fruits of your labor. And maybe there's been a period of this for you where you really had this kind of momentary time. This community was there for you, where you really got to get back in touch with yourself, with your intuition, honoring your needs, mothering yourself. There was success there. And now you're sitting at a very wonderful place of abundance. But what can happen is that when we get to that place, there might be, again, an opportunity coming in that's going now to kind of have to shake the tree a little bit, that you maybe were recovering around fear, or you were maybe recovering to a certain level of stability, because that's what the 4 of Pentacles can speak to right here, is that maybe like I mean, I can apply this to my own life. I think about when I, had to go through a divorce and I had to kind of walk away from everything. I had to, have a very big change in my experience that I then had to recover from on a physical level to get back to a level of financial stability, get back to a level of stability with finding a community that could allow me to recover on this level, to again, really take care of my own needs, and then really get to a place of personal independence. But then you get to that point of then I found myself very stable and secure, and suddenly then I was looking at, going with my new partner, with my current husband, and having to move clear across the country. And now I could have held myself back and said, no, like, I've just got myself finally stable here, and that's a big chance to move, and I'm going to lose my stability, I'm going to lose my community. But that was my opportunity for growth, and it's opened the door for so much more than even I was hoping for. So keep that in mind. I'm going to pull just a few for the contract here just to see what this opportunity might be bringing in. So there's definitely leaving a comfort zone. Yeah, that change in perspective. Yeah, whatever this opportunity is, this contract, this is seeing something from a new perspective. It's causing you, I think, to finally see like where you've been playing it small and where now it's time to level up. Again, this could be like where all of a sudden you or your partner gets the news, it's time to move out of state. And it's like, well, wait a second. What does that mean? I'm going to have to leave all of our comfort. We're going to have to leave the comfort zone. But then it's realizing, well, wait a second. When we start to look at places, out of state, oh my gosh, we can get a home that's double the size. We can, or this promotion that's taking you out of state is like suddenly going to pay you 3 times as much. And you're like, what the heck? Like, I never knew I could be worth that much. It's really kind of a wild thing that when these opportunities come in, a lot of times we'll shy away from them because, again, it's very scary to leave that safety and security, especially if it comes on the heels of kind of on a recovery of where we had to kind of regain our footing after a big life change. Okay, let's see here. Surrender resentments. So it says, holding on to resentments only poisons you. Try to forgive others for their shortcomings and keep moving forward towards positive situations in your life. Now, this could be actually part of that change in perspective, or suddenly you realize like, wow, the community at work that I thought was so wonderful, the team I thought was so supportive. Now I'm realizing they could have paid me, double the amount of money, and they were actually paying me the lowest of the scale of everybody. And suddenly now it can make you angry. So there's something here around that to really kind of just release what's been in the past, to realize that it's your period of growth and it's the right time with temperance coming in now. And so that can kind of give you that perspective of, yeah, maybe again, there was no balance. You weren't getting the equal amount on the return of your time and energy investment. But now with this contract coming in and the divinity of this, divine balance, now you will recoup that. Okay, let's see here with surrender resentments. 4 of Wands. Oh, I love it. Yeah, the 4 of Wands is... Now, for some of you, okay, I'm just going to put this out there. This the 6 of Swords coming in. This could be a resentment around a marriage or relationship that you had to move on from, and that could be really frustrating for you. Like I created this foundation, because the 4 of Wands speaks to that, a firm foundation that can be celebrated by others, which is often associated with marriage, and you had to move on from it. The 6 of Swords says, and now, because something happened, you literally had to move on. And that can be hard when we look back at the individual who maybe put us in that position, like, wow, I worked really hard to build this sense of community or this sense of, safety and security. And now I have this opportunity to level up, but I'm also looking back at, again, what I worked so hard to create, and now I have to leave it. For some of you, this is direct. This is a very specific message for just a few of you. There is something tied to a past relationship that you had to move on from, that maybe again put you into the cycle of having to recover. And maybe now you're finally realizing like, wow, I not only played it small then, but since then it's put me in a place where I was not at my best. I was not at my brightest. And now I'm seeing that as I'm getting this return on my investment, I'm realizing how much I played it small earlier. And that can be, when we think about the sun coming in true illumination, this is true illumination of the self. And you might just be realizing, my gosh, I haven't been valuing the beauty of myself. And in fact, somebody else hasn't been either, or other people in my experience have not been. And that can be difficult. But the beauty of surrendering resentments is that when we hold resentment, it doesn't benefit us. The only thing that benefits us is upon that realization, then taking action on our own behalf to meet our value, to realize the opportunities that are coming in to really honor our self-worth. And with the Six of Wands coming in, that's success. It's beautiful. So a lot to process this week. Pisces, I'm not going to, sugarcoat it. There definitely is really looking at where you hold a lot of fear around where you've held yourself back from really shining, from really honoring your own self-worth, your own self-value. And where now you might be being asked again to leave a comfort zone that is going to lead to extreme growth and, again, kind of a rebalancing, return on that investment where you felt maybe you had lost something at some point. It's also going to play on a talent you have been working on, an ability, a skill set, or just wherever you've been really working hard to save or working hard to do something specific in the physical. This is the opportunity coming in. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you all have a wonderful week ahead, and I look forward to reading for you next week, Pisces.